Hey guys, it's Jan, Not a Real Farm. Well, the garden is soaking wet today. We are getting a really nice rainstorm. Trying to get through this without getting soaked. So here's our garden. So I can't pick any potatoes today, but you can see now that they're all died down. And as a matter of fact, I was digging in here the other day and there are a ton of potatoes in there, so we're going to leave them where they are. Definitely got to dump that. And here is our other set of potatoes in the garden. It's still growing, guys. They're growing really good. I'm really hoping to get some baby potatoes out of this. This is the size of our pepper plants. New happy leaves. Look at the size of these plants. And as a matter of fact, you can see that my peppers are already starting on these ones. More potatoes I have to pick. Check it out. We are going to have so much potatoes this year. And this bed too. Now the peas, what's happening is I'm going to let them dry on the stem. And this is going to be our Sugar Sprint peas. And we'll be reseeding with these seeds next year. Oop, getting caught on the fence. Here's our beautiful corn soaking up the water. And our French melons are really going to love this rain today. Let's see. I know they're in here because I showed them to you on the last video. Let's see. Wouldn't that be something? Oh, there's another new one that I didn't see before. Let's see. Oh, there he is. Check that out. Getting bigger. I've actually got quite a few in here, and there's another one. Where did I see him? There he is. So all of this is going to appreciate the rain today. We've got tomatoes, I believe. For whatever reason, have decided to grow way down on the stem, and they've weighed down the plant outside. Those are going to be beef steaks. I'm getting soaked. It's raining harder. Our tomatillos. Look at this. This is amazing how many of these that we have. Lots of purple salsa, I'm thinking, this year. One of them is actually in the corner there. Do you see that? The pollinators really like the tomatillos this year. Look at all the flowers on them. I think they're so beautiful. And then our blueberry cherry is doing amazing. So we've got a nice little trellis of tomatoes there. More there. They're starting to really develop down here. And of course, everybody knows that raspberries are going to soak up the rain, but check it out. We're going to have a little crop of raspberries this year on the first year. That's an awesome surprise. And then, of course, we've got our other bed of corn here. Look how beautiful this corn is. No tasseling. I don't see any tasseling yet, but that's okay. We'll definitely probably get a crop of corn out of this one. And then, of course, we've got some more cherry tomatoes back here. And I threw in a pole bean, which eventually is going to go over here. And this is our Prince Purple pole bean. So everything looks super healthy in here. I'm really happy with it. More potatoes. And look how gigantic the spinach leaves are getting. Look at that. This is the best spinach I've ever grown and probably the biggest leaves that I've ever had. All right, here we are in the greenhouse and it is pouring. Listen to the rain on the roof. So this is good because it kind of gives the plants a little bit of a break from all of that harsh sun sometimes that they get in here from being exposed, sitting in a hot greenhouse. So let's walk on through and see what we can see. Ooh, we've got some black strawberry tomatoes. Look at that. And we've actually got a few that are ready. I think we have some here. These are really tasty little tomatoes. I really like them. So they have the same thing, sort of a blue marking on the shoulders and then a striping down the body. Almost like the Queen of the Night tomatoes, but they're on a little smaller scale. Really good for snacking. And we've enjoyed them. I think this is my 3rd year growing them. And they're really cool, really good. Of course, we've got our purple peppers. Super hot. So right now, we're going to be putting the seed on the store this evening. There is just so much of these to go around. There's no way we're going to use them all. So we'll be adding them onto the store. Really, really spicy. So if you're somebody that likes that sweet sort of hot, this is a good one for you. So moving on through, we've got another little micro tomato patch. So you can see how small they are and just how tiny those flowers are there. But these are called our Verde Rouge. And regardless of the size of the plant, they still give you some pretty good sized tomatoes and a nice sweet snack that you can sort of pick up, or especially if you want to grow on a patio. They give you a lot of good nutrients. Pack a punch with a little small space. You don't need much. Let's keep going. I think I'm hearing thunder, so that's not fun. This is our healthy peppers. So once again, they're beginning to get bigger. Now I'm just waiting for them to turn red, but we've got lots and lots on a lot of these plants. And they're pretty tall. They're probably about almost 2 feet. And I'm still getting blossoms at the top. So they're really reliable. I really enjoy growing them. They actually really don't need a lot of attention. And the size of the pepper so far, when they start getting mature, is actually pretty good. Here are my cayenne peppers. So you can see, these are called witch finger cayennes. And you can see why. They get pretty large, pretty pointy. This one's huge. I love this. So you can actually pick the cayennes now in the green stage if you want to use them. They're still really hot, but we're going to wait until they turn red to save the seed. So my burdock plant here, so these are not ready to pick, but these ones are. So if you take this, wear gloves if you're going to plant burdock for seeds or for tea or anything, how you want to use it. You break open these pods, they're full of burdock seeds, and it's one of the reasons why you got to catch burdock while it's still in that brown phase before it's busted open, because burdock spreads by seed, and if I don't catch this, probably right at this stage, we'll have way more burdock in here next year, which I don't want. So moving forward, remember I told you on the last video that we crossed a blueberry cherry with a red tomato. And so this is the product of it. So we're going to get that nice blue shoulder, but then we're going to get that nice red underneath. And so it's going to basically be the size of a saladette tomato, but you'll actually probably get about probably six tomatoes on one, sort of in a nice trellis there. And they start off with the blue shoulders and the green, just like the regular blueberry cherry, but in the end product, you'll have a big enough tomato that you can snack on. That's a little bit, well, way bigger than a cherry tomato. Then I see in behind here, we've got some ripe tomatoes, and the ones I'm growing back here that are just starting to really put on the tomatoes are going to be called a red charcoal tomato. So they're way back in there. We'll grab those later. And then we've got our Sartre Roloesses doing their thing. So it's going to be the yellow tomato with the purple shoulders. So behind us, we actually have our elephant ear peppers. So the elephant ears get very, very big, and you can see why they call them elephant ear. They almost actually look like a heart, in my opinion, but they're called the elephant ear. So they'll get probably a really good size. and they'll turn red when they're ready to pick. But we are loaded up here with them. Oh, and there's actually one here in the back as well. So this one's starting to get a little bit bigger. And then we have one that's back here. They actually get a fairly decent size. This one is going to require a ladder for me. So what's happened is my kidney beans have decided to grow way up into my shade cloth. So what's going to happen is I'll get up with a ladder and sort of dump the kidney beans out when I'm ready, because we're going to be saving the seed from them. But they're definitely playing a role in blocking the sun. But also, if you look way up there, they're still growing and they're still flowering. So there's going to be a lot of beans up there that I have to collect. And then they come all the way down. You can see here they're already in seed saving making mode. So it'll be interesting to see how many beans we come away with. And my favorite plant of the year is my Tiki Torch sunflower. So once again, we've got tons of sunflower seeds happening, starting to dry out. And the way you can tell they're drying out is the back of the flower becomes actually really squishy, almost to the point where it's thin like paper. And then you'll also see the green turn brown. Wear gloves when you pick the seeds if you grow them, because they hurt. Look at this one. We're starting to get seeds from that too. All right, let's see what else we got here. This is beautiful. I love doing this on a rainy day. I'm also working full-time and running the 2 greenhouses full-time, so it has been super busy. Okay, so this is the good example of what I mean. So the seed head is turned brown. It's like paper. And inside, this is all brown. So the good part about it is, until you actually break this flower head open, the sunflower seeds won't fall out even if they're upside down. So you can just clip that, throw it in a bowl, dump out the seeds, and you're good to go. These are our gigantic pineapple ground cherries. So let me just back up a little bit. So the plants here have actually intertwined with the sunflowers, and that's okay because they're giving each other extra support. But they have lots of berries on them. And I can't wait to show them to you and see, just to do a size comparison difference between the regular pineapple ground cherries and the bigger ones. Ooh, let's take a look in here. Oh, look at this. This is awesome. Check out that color. So that's the Queen of the Night. I don't want to pull her up yet just because she's still got a little bit of green, but isn't that beautiful? I love coming in here and looking at these with the shoulders all black, and then you've got sort of that cool red color. This one, let's take a look. He's still got a little bit of green. And then we've got sort of a few more under here that their colors are awesome. I love them. Look at that. My husband has realized how tasty they are, so they kind of go just as fast as I bring them into the house, so I have to sort of hide the ones I want to save the seeds from. This one's ready to go. Check it out. Whew, that one's awesome. Look at the color on that. I love it. I gotta hide this one. I love the striping and the coloring on this one, so this one's not gonna make it onto a tomato sandwich. And then we've got some orange stoplight peppers. These are gonna go probably on some nachos this weekend. We do a lot of nachos here, especially with the kids. What we like to do is keep it simple. Use up ingredients like onions and peppers. We've got lots of these happening, so this is good. And then we've got our Sweetheart cherry tomatoes. So if we just swing around here, we can see that we're now starting to get that nice vine of tomatoes going. See here, my lettuce has gone to seed. So we're going to try and take that as carefully as possible. Almost impossible not to drop any seeds. And we're going to take it and we're going to dry it. Save the seed and grow the lettuce next year. And then back in here, you can see that we've got our Celebrity Hybrid. So always produces big, beautiful red tomatoes. So I always at least plant one hybrid. So you can see we've got a ton of these in here. Here's a new one if you haven't tried growing that in your garden yet. These ones here, let me just bring this up, are a Midnight Roma. It looks like they're actually getting a nice size, and they're going to be changing to black. And you'll see that at the top, usually around the stem here, they have an orange shoulder. So a black with an orange shoulder. So I can't wait to show you what they look like once they're ripened. So they're a black Roma tomato. And of course, my showstopper that never lets me down is my pink cherry tomatoes, which basically never seem to make it past me bringing it up to the house. So I have to sort of hide these because they get eaten as soon as they brought in, and I'm trying to save the seed from them, but they make really good snacks. So moving right in the back, you can see here that we had a little bit of broccoli. It's a sprouting broccoli. I probably could still take some from here. But behind it, we have an Aunt Lou's underground railroad tomato. So it looks like we're going to have a fairly decent size railroad tomato that we'll be able to share with you next year. They're also growing up here. And it's the first year for me growing these. So let's see how they turn out. I love the history of them. They're called an underground railroad tomato. Take a look at the history. And here's something new I wanted to share with you. Take a look. My pink hibiscus flowers are starting to bloom, which is awesome. So I've got a couple here that are starting to come out here. I can't wait to see what they look like. And then we've got all kinds of flower heads up here. And I have 2 of them, so this is going to be a really pretty plant. And moving on through, we've got some aloe that I'm growing here, so that's growing really good. And then we have what's called a silvery fir tomato. So they're called that because their leaves are very furry. It's a potato leaf, but you can see how furry it is on the leaves. And this one is actually giving me quite a bit of tomatoes. As a matter of fact, there's one in here that's beginning to ripen. And then in the back, way in the back here, we have our mortgage lifters. So our mortgage lifter has become a very tall plant that we've had to stake. And we've got some tomatoes that are beginning to happen there. So I'm super happy about that. And one of the newer plants that I grew this year that I had a lot of success with was bergamot. And the bergamot smells amazing, and the bees love this flower. And so now our bergamot has lasted with us all summer, but now it's starting to turn to seed. So we'll be able to grow a new, bigger patch of bergamot next summer. That's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here at Not a Real Farm. If you have any questions, please pop them below, and have an awesome weekend. See you soon.